So there was this property in Bird Rock. It was famously known as Rancho Relaxo. There were tents in the backyard. They would have a random garage sale every single day with weird items they found in the trash. It was a real flockhouse. He called me up and asked for a listing appointment to list his house. And I go on every listing appointment.
Of course. Sam, you're like, yes, I will be there.
So I lived a block away and I walked over and I have my little clipboard and notebook and I'm also 8 months pregnant. He opens the door and stares at me like has no idea what I'm doing there.
You're like,
Hi, hello, Chris. We have a listing appointment? And I just looked at him and I go, maybe I should come back at another time. We had a listing appointment. He's like, no, it's okay. And he reaches down and he picks up this, you want to hit?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalowski. And today, I'm very excited for this guest because we've been plotting this for a little while. We have Michelle Dykstra with us. Hi, my love.
Hi.
She's a little nervous, but we're going to make her not nervous. Michelle is with Compass, and as she just famously told me, she has been in the business since she was 7. We'll ask her more about that in a second. And I think we've known each other almost my whole career.
I believe so.
I think so, which is
Absolutely.
amazing. It's almost 10 years. She is a powerhouse agent here in La Jolla, a mom to 2, right? Wonderful children. And she famously is known for not needing a microphone at Reba, but I have put one in front of her today. So, Michelle, welcome Behind the Lockbox.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so when you walked in, we were joking, and you were like, I printed everything out, and I was like, yes, I love a prepared woman. So I have notes, and I love it. Some people use their phone. I mean, some people, Matt Toby brings in like a 40 to drink sometimes. You never know what the day will bring. Where do you want to start? Because you had some really good stories, and do we want to, well, first of all, I don't know if we're going to get to this story because it was kind of further down on the list. Are these in priority?
No.
Okay.
It's just random thoughts.
Okay, so I think it's hilarious, and maybe we can even start quickly here just with a quick one. Guys, she calls bongs, that you smoke the ganja out of, vases. Tell me why.
Well, because if you're showing a property ever in Mission Beach, there's always one on the table. And I always, at my own personal house, have a vase on the table. So that I just refer to them.
A couple of vases here.
Well, exactly. It's like, it's just a part of the decor in Mission Beach. Instead of having a vase on your table, you have a vase. And it's just become part of the decor and you get used to it. Even when you've made an appointment and you've confirmed it and they know you're coming, there's a bong full of bong water and usually a bag of pots sitting right there in the middle of the living room.
And it might not be a tenant. It could be the owner. It could be anybody. It's whomever.
I will guarantee you, if you go show a property in Mission Beach, it's there. I showed a property in Mission Beach. It was on the 2nd floor, right on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
I think it was on Sunset and Boardwalk.
Okay.
And my client, it was like a 3-unit complex. That client was buying all 3 units. And as we're walking up the stairs, the other agent's going first. As she turns around, she goes, a skunk must have gotten in here.
You're like, oh, you're so sweet and nice.
I know you're my client, and I look at each other like, that is not a skunk. We get upstairs, we open the closet door. There's a full grow house going on in the closet.
And when was this?
Oh, yeah, this is...
Not now. That's was the day when this was not legal.
Yeah, no, this is before it was legal. And the agent's like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. I'm thinking, you've showed this property before. It smells. It's a pretty obvious.
That's hysterical. And did you say something, since we're on this whole bond deal, like, did somebody offer you?
So there was this property in Bird Rock. It was famously known as Rancho Relaxo. And it was called Rancho Relaxo because they actually had a sign above the front entrance that said Rancho Relaxo.
They've named it like a villa.
And Rancho Relaxo was known for being a flop house. And there were, you could see over the fence. There were tents in the backyard. They would have a random garage sale every single day with weird items they found in the trash. It was a real flockhouse.
So, meaning the person that owned it.
The person that owned it inherited it. He was probably 50 something at the time. No.
But he was just letting people come and stay.
The entire homeless population lived there. And
I'm sure the neighbors loved that.
yeah, so it ended up selling it years later when it had been completely remodeled. But,
Wow. You're like, I've been here.
the neighbors got him out. It was
Oh, I can't imagine.
neighbors worked with the city, yeah, because it was a it was a
Dangerous, 100%.
So, but years before he actually got out of the house, years before, he called me up and asked for a listing appointment to list his house. And I go on every listing appointment.
Of course. Sam, you're like, yes, I will be there.
So I lived a block away and I walked over and I have my little clipboard and
No.
notebook and I'm also 8 months pregnant and I was a good pregnant person because I just ate everything in the world and got to buy new clothes. So I had like big old moo on and I'm giant.
But you're like, I would imagine, all belly. Like, you are
Oh,
a
no.
petite woman.
I am a petite woman, yeah, but I've got up and down in the weight.
I mean, so have I. But I can
No,
imagine
I'm big,
you can
though.
tell you're pregnant.
Oh, there's
There's
8
no
months.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I delivered in September. It was August.
Yeah. Okay.
And he opens the door and stares at me like has no idea what I'm doing there.
You're like,
Hi, hello, Chris. We have a listing appointment.
do you
And I-
remember?
I look around the living room and there's like 5 or 6 just people sort of again. There's multiple bongs. There's the curtains were tapped up beach towels.
Sure.
I mean, it
Mhm.
was
blankets,
really yeah.
probably thumbtacks.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And there's people passed out all over the living room. And I just looked at him, I go, maybe I should come back at another time. We had a listing appointment. He's like, no, it's okay. And he reaches down and he picks up, goes, you want a hit? No, that's all right.
Not particularly.
It's not the right time.
Yeah.
But it was,
Maybe in a couple months. I'll be back.
get back to me.
Wow. Did you
So-
stay?
I did actually. I did. I came in.
Such a champ.
I sat on the very, very edge of a couch.
You're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I
touch
didn't lean back.
anything.
You like your nice cozy chair.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Yes, it was. It was not a long appointment,
Mhm.
and he ended up not.
And were people sleeping around?
Oh yeah, they were just completely passed out.
And honestly, did you see any other paraphernalia? I would imagine
I
it's not.
didn't really look around.
Yeah,
I
that's-
sort of wanted to get out. Of it.
Yeah, especially pregnant. I'd imagine it wasn't just pot, but
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
Anyway,
They were definitely. Oh yes, it was.
I guess
interesting.
then
she walks in on.
Yes, the things you see, which is so wild.
Yeah.
Okay, take a look at your notes. What other story do you want to hit us?
So
Give me like your favorite of
Well-
what you've got there.
probably, well, one of the things that sticks out the most in my mind because
Mhm.
it was terrifying. Oh, and it all. The good news is it all worked out okay.
Okay,
But this is again, I was working as an assistant. It
Mhm.
was in the late '90s,
Okay, when
and
you were selling.
uh, no, I'll throw that to that.
You're welcome. Oh yeah, I need to talk about that. Anyway,
So we're showing a house. I'm there with the agent I work for.
Okay.
I'll leave her name out of it. Just
she's still in the business.
oh yeah, she is. And she knows the story. She was there.
yeah.
So we're showing a home. It was on Colgate.
Okay.
And had floor to see. It was you enter on one level
Okay.
the street, and then there was rooms down below. So
Okay.
we're on the main entry level.
Yes.
And there's floor to ceiling glass windows, like 6 or more in a row.
Wow.
2-story glass windows, high ceilings. But then below you, remember we're on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Romeo and Juliet balcony. It's just the windows, and then there's nothing down below.
And again, so you would be
yes,
on the same level. You're not on
they're
ground
in
level.
Perfect views,
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
These giant windows. But we're on the second floor.
Mhm.
And so the couple's there. They have 2 2-year-old boys.
Okay.
And the agent says to me,
Mm.
"Oh, Michelle, why don't you watch the kids in the living room while I go and show them the house?" Of course, sure.
Yeah.
Lots of cute little,
I'll babysit them for
I'm in my
yeah.
mid-20s or
Right.
something,
Right.
right? I don't know how old it was. But, so I'm like, sure, no, not a problem. So these 2 little crazy children, I mean, they're 2-year-old boys, and they're are running. And it's a big, giant living room, and they're running and running and running, and they're running in circles, and I'm sort of just like, okay, Kaya's like, and then all of a sudden, one of them runs face forward into the plate glass window, smacks the window. The whole thing is slow motion. I could see that.
I
am
literally picture.
I'm trying to hold them. He hits the window, and the whole window shatters. I scream.
Oh,
Loud as I can. I'm like screaming because I'm trying to reach
in slow motion. You're
I'm
trying to grab
trying to
him.
grab the kid. The other little one's over here, and I scream at the top of my lungs. The window shatters.
Whoa.
There's no safety glass in this
No.
window. It was shattered.
All over
And
him.
I just watched this child, and I'm thinking, only thing I can think is, oh, God, he's going to go right through the window and fall on the ground.
Yeah.
And I jumped in, and I was able to grab him and pull him back from what is just a threshold.
Literally, like,
Gone.
that's it.
And there's nothing. So, and then as I'm pulling him back, I see that there's literally a dagger of glass that is just above his head.
Oh my
And
God.
as I'm grabbing him, I'm thinking this dagger of glass is going to come down. So I grab him back. The parents have heard what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's like, yes, a
kid
commotion.
is screaming
Sure.
his head off,
Is he
screaming,
bloody?
bleeding all over
Because,
the
of
place.
course, when he hit it and it shattered, I'm sure it cut
Everything.
so a little bit.
And when I grabbed him, I didn't realize, of course, that he had itty tiny bitty
Oh,
shards
of
of glass
But
all
you know
over
what?
him. But I couldn't. I mean,
I had to.
he was going to fall over, or
Right.
that dagger was going
Right.
to smack him on the head.
Right.
And so the parents got there and, came from the other room, and I immediately just backed off because it was like, oh my God.
Were
And
you
they
sort
sort of,
of shaky?
well, and my parents were like, what have you just done to our child?
Yeah, because they didn't.
Right. They didn't see
see
it
it.
happen.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, he just ran through you just, And so the mother starts stripping his clothes, stripping him bare.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can see he's just thousands of tiny little covered. And so he ended up, of course, going to hospital.
Right.
And they pulled out multiple
Hundreds
hundreds
of
of
jewelry, yeah.
shards of glass. That child is now a grown adult and perfectly fine. And
Thank God. But like, okay.
but it was terrifying.
I mean, you saved his life. Like had he fallen, was it concrete below?
Yeah.
He would have died.
Yeah.
I-
It was, I mean, it was one of those like,
Yeah. Oh, I would have. That's traumatizing
Yeah.
a little bit, like
Yeah.
for sure. And you're still in real estate after all this time. You didn't quit.
I didn't quit. No.
That is seriously so scary. I have a 1.5-year-old niece, and like she's running around like crazy now. And I think about those things. You know what I mean? Like when she's, they just are, and they move so quickly.
Well, there are
You know, and there's two of them, yes, and they're going in opposite directions, and you're one person to like grab them and wrangle them in.
but I see that. I mean, you can
We're
never
going like
get it.
thankful
I mean, yes.
after
But
after they realize
that immediate reaction was like, what has just,
yeah.
done?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're supposed to be watching our kid now. He's bloodied and covered in glass. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. So I'm not going to be your babysitter. I mean,
No, I would be like, no. I don't watch children. You're gonna need to take them with you. I cannot be responsible. Didn't somebody walk smack into a glass window?
Oh,
was it John? Michelle, why is it now? How many people walking through?
we had washed the windows way too well, and
He said something and we
bounced-
remember the next
bounced
day.
off the
Yeah, he
window.
said he literally bounced downwards.
physically bounced backwards. Like I thought he could have broken his nose.
Oh my
I mean, he
God.
just walked right
And
in.
you're like, that window, he's like, damn, that window was clean. Like, oh, John, I'm trying to get John on the pod. John McGinnis, we love you so
He's
much.
fun.
Like,
He's fun.
he's so funny, but he came into Reba. Oh my God, obsessed with them both. He came in like the next week or something, and I can't remember
He did. He said something
at Reba. And then I was like, what happened? He's like, girl, I walked right into that window. It was so clean and like in front of everybody.
Your shout out to Shine Bright Window because they're like, you did such a good
job that people have walked into this window. Let's not do that again. Like, oh my God, that's hysterical. Poor John. Anyway. Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just in content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PropertyShowcasegroup.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. I'm back to talk about our sponsor and producer, Property Showcase Group. This is for all my agent and affiliate friends out there. Property Showcase Group has a special offer for you. The first 3 agents to email Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com will get 1 month free of social media management using code LOCKBOX. That's right, 1 month free. And they're offering 20% off your first video production using code LOCKBOX. For more information, contact Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com, and don't forget to use code LOCKBOX or mention this podcast. Okay, yeah, you digress. So what's one more? I know you've got many there.
Well, I was saying, Lindsay, last night I had dinner.
Hi, Linz.
I had dinner with some wonderful real estate agents. Lindsay and then Suzanne Sette, Lindsay Schaff, behind Liz Pruitt, and Terry Christensen.
That's so fun, by the way. If you guys haven't heard Lindsay's episode, go back and take a listen. It's really fun.
But no, I had dinner last night, so I was saying, okay, guys,
help me remember.
You've known me forever.
Yeah.
Hear your numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So one of them that came up is about a listing I had, and I didn't know there was a cat, and actually, Suzanne Sette helped me hold open an open house.
Oh, no.
And the cat got out. I guess it had been hidden underneath the bed, and it got out. But I was never told by the others.
I was going to say, normally there's like a sign on the door that says, like, don't let the cat. It's so funny. Just this morning, one of my clients and really good family friends sent me a funny GIF, and it was like a video a listing agent who posted, and there's a sign on the door that says, like, don't let the cat out. And he opens the door, and the cat's like right there, and he just slowly closes the door. And I told her, you do not know the stress of a cat being in the house when you're showing it or doing an open house until you experience it, because then you're like, and they hide. So then you can't find them. So you're like,
where they are.
Did it get out? Like, I have no idea. Anyway,
so
oh my God.
So the cat got out. Didn't know the cat was even hiding or could get out or was. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Of course, this owners are incredibly upset to the point of threatening. So I lived. Was
this your listing, or you were doing the open house? Okay.
I lived down the street from these people, and they said to me, "I see your children playing in the front yard. How would you feel if one of them disappeared?"
Oh my God! You're like, okay. So first of all, mind you, I don't have children. I'm just a dog mom, and I would lose my damn mind if my dog got out. But like, to make
and so I had to call the police and get like a restraining order on them.
Okay, wait. So they were more threatening.
Oh yeah.
This wasn't just like making a comparison. They were threatening, like, we see your kids out there unattended.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
And I had done everything in the world to try to find this cat. I made posters. I posters about all
of you did.
I actually would get up in the middle because cats like to hang out in the
They're nocturnal. Yes, so
I can walk around the neighborhood at 2 a.m. for hours on end. The cat did come back. The cat's perfectly fine. The cat showed up on its own.
They usually do.
3 or 4 days later.
He was like,
I didn't
do it out and had a good time
for days. And then when they threatened my kids, I was really,
what did you do?
Well, I wouldn't let the kids go outside on the shop.
Did you sever that? Did you?
Oh, the house. Oh, you were like, I walked away from the whole thing.
I would.
Yeah, they still live there.
Do they?
They never fall.
No way.
That,
have you ever seen them? Are they in town?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
that's wild.
It was just, I mean, I know they were really upset. It was definitely
get it,
upset.
but like,
and I'm really glad the cat was okay. And I'm a cat person. I'm a crazy cat lady. So
I'm not. So I'm like, who cares if a cat got out? Sorry, nobody does.
No, it was terrifying.
If it was my dog, like, again, but I just can't imagine saying that to somebody when I know, like, you did. First of all, I would be like, this is my fault. I should have told you. Thank you. Let's band together and try to find this cat. Let's put like, what else are you going to do? And by the way, I have to tell you, if I was a crazy animal owner, which I am because I'm a helicopter mom. By the way, she's not here. She's a daycare. Like, you wouldn't even, you know what I mean? Like, This is what I do. If I was having showings in my house I would not leave her in the kennel. I would not leave my cat under the bed. I would take it with me if you're that concerned, because things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen in an open house. This isn't even like a showing or like, hey,
this is the public coming to your home.
don't like, you know, I've seen so many where, like, again, there's a note on the door and you just kind of quickly peer in the room. You both like make a wall so the cat can't get out. You look around, you close the door. Like, this is an open house.
Yeah.
Why would they leave the cat inside?
I don't know. But
People, see,
but
this
again,
is what we go through.
stories all end up okay.
They do, but like, regardless, it's just like, what, like, why leave the cat here anyway?
Yeah.
Do you have one more? Or do you want to play a game?
I'll have one more.
Okay, tell me more. Okay.
So when I was, I worked up in Marin County for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And so Marin is just north of San Francisco.
Yes.
And I was working with an agent.
Because you're from here, right?
I'm originally from Marin.
Oh, you're from Marin. Okay, so did you start in real estate there?
No.
You
I
did
started
not.
here.
Oh my gosh.
And then I went up there for
Okay.
about 9 months.
Okay.
Thinking I might move back.
Got it.
Then I was working with my mother, and we decided at some point we had to be mother and daughter. We did not have to be business partners.
For sure.
Because one relationship was going to end.
Yeah.
Either
Let's not make the mother
daughter make the mother and daughter, but
for sure.
I love her to pieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, she had, long story. But I was working with another agent, not with her. And this agent was very into astrology. And so she had so she had a computer program that would run your natal chart. So you would put in your birth date and the house's birth date, which we were figuring out, like, was it when the house last sold? Was it when the house was built?
Like, what works better, potentially?
So we would
kind of
put in
different
birth
dates.
dates.
Okay.
And then we have like the buyer, the seller, the house, and we make a whole natal chart. And then that would determine
This is
how we progressed with the transaction. And one of the things was a family was buying a property.
Yeah.
And Mercury was going into retrograde. And if this was Mercury going into retrograde, it's the communication. And you can't sign documents. It's while Mercury's in retrograde, you don't want to be signing any important documents.
And that's how Mercury goes in retrograde a lot.
So when Mercury was about to go into retrograde, these buyers were going to buy a house, and they needed to sign the contract before Mercury went into retrograde. And we were talking like we had hours left before it was happening. So I'm in Sausalito. The buyer was in San Francisco.
And hold on. Did the buyer believe in all of this too?
The buyer believed in whatever his agent told him to believe in.
Okay.
And
this agent was like, this is it. And you were like, so I'm here for the ride. Got it.
Yes. So I had to drive to San Francisco. And this is before DocuSign. I had to drive to San Francisco, and I had to get him out of a meeting. He is a very important CEO. There's a giant, 30-foot tall high rise. There's the full glass window, more glass windows.
Say from glass window.
But with the
in this big conference room.
Giant conference room with a big long table that holds 30 people. Yeah. The big view of San Francisco. Yeah. And I get there, and I say to the front desk receptionist, I need to get him. I mean, like, he's a guy that's enabled. Yeah. I need him to step out. Yeah. She said, he's at a very important meeting. I'm like, tell him. And well, her name is Lauren. I should say,
Lauren sent me.
And she looks at it. I don't know how he got him, but he looked up. Oh, yeah, not a problem. He leaves this whole meeting, comes out to the bar.
He's like, Mercury's about to go in retrograde. Yes, I need to go find the thing really quick.
He's like, not a problem. And then it's like, I'm so sorry to body. Not a problem. I need to sign this right now. Her getting the pen. And then I had to hightail it back to get it all in
before Mercury went into
retrograde. And when they got the house, they got involved. But that was the kind of thing that when you knew how the natal charts went, you did what you needed to do. Exactly.
That is really freaking funny. So do you remember when we had, I'm going to bleep this out, the address. And that property was a nightmare. Yeah. And both.
I just looked at that was listed.
Yeah, we had it.
I met the owner.
And I have trauma bonded over this.
Yeah. That woman was so.
That's correct. Yes. So anyway, we won't get into all that, but the same thing happened. Mercury went into retrograde and she wouldn't sign anything. And that was my first time ever hearing about any of that. And this was in 2017, 2018. And I was like, what? Like, this is and then the more people I told, they're like, oh, yeah. No. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, and anytime like shit's going crazy, I'm like, is it a full moon or is Mercury, like, what is happening? Because like, it's funny. I read something last year and it was like, oh, all these new full moons in 2025 are going to be so much. So now I see a full moon and I'm like, all right, girl, me and you. This is not going to be a disaster of a week. This escrow is not going to fall out. This is going to be great. We're growth, right? Right? And then the next day is a shit show and you're like, that's what I thought. Anyway. Okay. Do you want to play a game? Sure. Let's play a game. You have to come back for round 2 and hold on. Okay. Stop. I'm going to read these to you, but we need to have you and Ashley back because that would be super, super fun. Okay. The game is called Punch List because we hit you with 3 questions. My brother came up with that. Isn't that clever? I give him credit where credit's due sometimes. Okay. This will probably incite some other stories for you. Unless it's something we've already talked about, you can be like, I kind of already said it. Okay. What is the weirdest thing or situation you've ever walked in on?
Weirdest thing. Well, I'm going to think. I didn't walk in because I heard it happening before I walked in.
Oh boy.
Very, very, very loud, very enjoyable.
No way!
She was having a
Very good time.
And you were like, and again,
I'll come back.
I had a scheduled appointment. Like, do you not know what time it is, people?
I mean, like, we just had to get it in and it was just too much fun.
And the buyers and buyers
hearing it
on the porch and you couldn't
not
hear this and you just had to think, probably just come back another time.
Oh my God. This is so good. This is so good.
And it was my listing. So
of course, you're like,
it was really hard to
what do
see
you
her
say?
Well, I'm glad you're so happy.
That we have an appointment, so could you rush this along? That'd be great. How could you guys
I did come in on a very, very large, very naked band off of, I don't remember if it was Manana or Imita, but it was one of those off of Nautilus.
Yeah.
And again, we had a scheduled appointment, people, and he was asleep, and I thought I didn't know if he was alive because he was very large, very naked on top of the bed, and you're thinking, oh shit.
Like something happened, maybe he passed out after the shower or whatever.
Then heard snoring and then like backed out really quickly. And again, got out of the house before he ever knew we had been in the house.
And you're like, I don't ever want to see that again.
No.
Okay.
Again, Dykstra, in your head.
I'm kind of sad I haven't walked in on any of this yet, but there's time. What is your biggest pet peeve? This can be in work or life. I have so many. The list is long.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I don't really have a lot.
Oh, I love that for you. I have so many. I have like road rage pet peeves, like,
the customer service people who are just idiots. Yes, my God, I'm sorry.
It's true. And you're like, I know you're just doing your job or not doing your job.
Well, I will say, if you ever call Amazon customer service, they're incredibly kind and helpful. Weirdly kind.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
All over the world, by the way.
Oh.
And the second you want a refund, it's already there.
Yeah. It's really...
Have you chatted with them?
Yes.
That's how... I don't need to call anymore. I just get the chat.
They're just fabulous.
They're fabulous.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
good job, Bezos.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really interested in this question. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why? I mean, you've been doing this since you were 7, so that's a hard one.
I know. I always thought I wanted to be... Well, this is before I realized that... Okay. So I think I'd probably have been maybe the person who plans all the corporate events. Like you rent out the convention center and you have the big giant event thing.
Yeah.
That would be...
I can see that.
A big event thing.
I feel like you run a good organized tight shit.
Yeah.
And you would be so good at it, and you don't need a microphone, so you would just be yelling at all those people, and shit would get done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can see it.
And then you have the hotel, and you make sure that everyone gets their amenities. And
it's just so beautiful, and you're like, look at this event that I put on. Like, that's kind of satisfying, you know? Yeah, I like that. I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. This was good, right? It was easy. I know you were nervous. And is this your second podcast you've ever done?
Yes, I did one for... Jim McInerney's.
That's right. That's right. I love Jim. Oh, Love him. Love him.
You're going to have to cut this part out.
Okay, wait. Tell me after we stop recording. Okay. I have to know this now. Tell me after you start recording. Okay. Don't you guys wish you knew that? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. Please don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube. We need your subscribers. Follow us on Instagram at Behind the Lockbox. Leave us a kind review. And don't forget to follow and download the show. We need your downloads. So again, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.